This video is all about how to make crazy stuff like this throne. If we take a look at this, it's got a lot of crazy modeling in it. First of all, it's got these swans with feathers on the sides, big duckbills, little feet on an egg. It's got this sunflower on the front with a pattern of petals around it and an irregularly shaped ball in the center. It has buttons on the cushions and these little nail heads that go all the way around, not to mention the crazy woodwork with balls and banners and overlapping layers of wood. If we get right down and take a look at it, you can see there's a lot of stuff going on with this model. This isn't typical stuff that you think you'd find in Solidworks. In fact, I was probably pushing the limits a little bit when I created this. There are some shortcomings to the model, of course. It's there's not a lot of solid here. Some of this just looks like a nice model, and if you needed to get a volume or a weight off of this, you'd be hard pressed. But again, what was the purpose of the model? In this case, it was to demonstrate just some crazy off the wall, over the edge sort of techniques. Where do you get an idea for stuff like this? Well, aside from illegal substances, sometimes you just do an internet search for images just to get an inspiration for some sort of shape or something. And you don't have to follow any of this exactly. In fact, that would kind of be the point, just to come up with your own ideas. And so that's what I did. This just started with an internet search, got some pictures, looked at them for a while, and then came up with my own idea. With a shape like this, where would you start? That can be a tough question unless you have an organized approach to something as creative as this. You still have to be organized. One of the things that I did was, again, realizing that this is going to be a symmetrical model, as I only model half, and I made a 3D layout sketch for the chair. And this helped me understand, okay, where are the legs going to be? Where's the seat going to be? Where's the back going to be? And once I have those answers, I can pretty much figure out everything else. So this looks like a constellation of stars, and it's kind of vague in its outline of the chair, but it does help me just get everything in place. And that's where I started. So let's roll it back and have a look at the very first thing that I did. With that layout in place, and I'll just turn this on so we can keep it in mind as I'm working through everything else. I created this front panel, and that's just a sweep with a cross section at the middle, a line across the top, and a 3D spline to give shape on the bottom. Now you'll notice as we go through this that there's a lot of 3D spline or 3D sketch going on in general, because this chair doesn't it doesn't have a lot of regular surfaces, and so a lot of it is going to be just 3D splines or 3D sketches in general. And even the layout is a 3D sketch, even though it's straight lines. How did I decide to do this front panel first? I don't know. I just decided, well, this is what I want to see to begin with. This is it's between the actual pad of the chair and the ground, and it attaches to the two legs. So I thought it was a good place to start. From here, I added a reference surface. We've talked about these in many of the other videos, and looks like we'll add another one here. Yes, I'm getting ready to do this, the center area of the sunflower type shape that's in the middle. These two reference surfaces are going to help me make a completely irregular center to the sunflower. It's not elliptical, it's flatter on the bottom than it is on the top. Looks like it's not going to be on a flat surface because this sweep it's got some shape to it. So with those two reference surfaces, I now use a surface fill to make the center of that sunflower. Surface fill really is the magic wand in Solidworks. Try to make use of it as much as you can. Excellent tool. From here, I trim these together. These are joined together in a single surface body. From here, I wanted to do the petals around the sunflower. And I created a simple boundary surface with two sketches. Of course, these are making use of the center plane and a new plane that I created. From here, I don't always make the shape I intend in a single feature. It's not a secret, but it's one of the things that you have to know. So I made this one just from two sketches, and then I trimmed part of it back to give it a curved top. Remembering, of course, that I'm going to pattern this around and also mirror it. So from here, I went ahead and created part of the back. Now this is kind of complicated and tough to do. It's even tougher to visualize. And visualization turns out to be one of the biggest tools that you have to employ in this kind of work in SolidWorks and in any CAD program or any design program really where it's very heavily in 3D and not relying on flat surfaces very much. Let's see how this was created. Started out with a cross section, and I want to drive this upside down J, which is a spline. I want to drive it and kind of flex it as it moves along this boundary surface. You could create something like this as a sweep, but it works out well in this case as a boundary surface. Plus, if I need to specify sections here and there, I can go back and do that. I've got several sections that I specified in a single 3D sketch. One of the advantages of 3D sketch is that you can sketch all over the place, wherever you've got planes, and even if you don't have planes. From there, I created an outline just to be more specific about how the shape is driven, and I was able to drive the inside and the outside curve at the same time in a single 3D sketch. That makes it a lot easier to edit, easier to visualize all at once, because if you're tweaking this point, then you don't have to get out of the sketch and go find this one to tweak that point. You can do it all in one place, which is much easier. Thanks for watching part 1. Please come back for the next part.